You're listening to KZUU 90.7 FM Pullman. We're a broadcast service of the ASWSU. I'm your host, DJ DayZ, and welcome to episode 3 of What's New Wazzu. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Mark Billings. So let's get into it. Would you please restate your name, your title, and your pronouns?
All right. Dr. Mark Billings. And let's see. Just call me Mark, though. And then pronouns he, him. Title, officially lecturer. I like teacher, though. That's my,
Right on.
Yeah.
You're more of a teacher. You talk with the class than just at us.
Yeah. That's my kind of my shtick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've taken your class before. I've taken SOE 312, which is Natural Resource.
Natural Resources in Society. It's kind of a introduction to natural resource sociology, with the general sort of statement or mission of the class to get people to, look at issues from through other people's lenses, right? Like, especially the people we don't agree with when it comes to natural resource management issues.
I did really respect that part of your class, how we listen to opinions that not everyone agrees with, that might be a little controversial, but are equally valid within the realm of natural resources.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, at the end of the day, my old boss, Matt, used to say, we're not managing trees or water or wildlife, we're managing people. So you gotta understand them.
And that's like a fundamental part of this whole field, and something I never understood when I was younger and thinking like, okay, I want to go to college and study the environment, was how really you study people.
Yeah.
Like, that is the only way you can really make a difference in the environment is through people.
If there weren't people on the land and using the land and interacting with the land, well then, there would be no issues at all. It would be a totally different ecosystem, that's for sure.
All right. Well, so you're a natural resources professor, but you weren't born that way, so
no, I was born a wee baby.
I'd love to hear how you became a professor.
Oh man, that is such a long story. Did you say this was an hour or a 3-hour show?
Well, let's start with this.
All right.
You went to WSU as an undergrad, is that correct?
I did. I came back to school as an undergrad. I got a degree back in '99 from CWU. It's another cat predator sort of mascot with the wildcats there. So I'm all about the cat predators. But yeah, no, I got a degree from there in communications and went to work in TV news. I was in that for like 15 years.
Wow.
I worked in Yakima, Boise, Tucson, Arizona, and then the last 7 years were in Spokane, where I did a number of jobs, almost every job in the business minus reporter or news director.
I never would have guessed that.
I don't talk about it a lot because honestly, it's a soul crushing business.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of awesome stuff to say about television news in most of its forms. But I got tired of it in like 2013.
Okay.
And my wife made sure she's like, you make sure you tell this part of the story right. And I said, okay. She said, we were on our way home from visiting her family down in Boise. And I said, what would you think if I went back to school? And she, without missing a beat, jumped on her phone and got me registered at WSU. And
really?
And she said, yeah, I'll go to work full time. We'll make it work. Super supportive, and it was a really cool experience.
That's awesome.
And so I came back. I got a Bachelor of Science in Earth and Ecosystem Sciences, and then moved on to get a Master's in Natural Resource Sciences, and then a PhD in Environmental and Natural Resource Sciences. And basically, I think once I got here, I just kind of put my foot down and I refused to leave. And
you got all 3 degrees.
I got all 3 degrees, and then they, I was like, I'm not going anywhere. That you might as well start paying me to teach.
Yeah.
And
right
that's not exactly how it went, but yeah, it was fun though. It's been a really cool ride. And yeah, back when I was a kid, my mom said, you should be a teacher. That's what you're good at. And I was like, nah. And then here I am.
It's the teachers that don't want to teach that are always the best.
I tell you, the women in my life are absolutely amazing. They just have really been there for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like we have 2 Mrs. Billings to thank for you being here.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. So, what's it like? So when you're doing your PhD, did you have to do any research? Is that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure exactly how PhDs work, how you get them, but
it's pretty rigorous. Yeah. It's difficult. You essentially you have a research topic. You end up doing what are called 3 chapters. Sometimes people do more. Yeah, it's hard. So I did 3 different case studies for my PhD. So
within natural resources?
Yeah, it's all related to wildfire. And
okay.
Basically people's perceptions related to wildfire. So wildfire adaptation among communities and in the wildland urban interface, which I think we talked about a little bit in 312, right?
Actually, yeah, we talked about how the Nez Perce use fire on their land and their traditional uses for it.
Yeah.
And I took SOE 300 with William Schlosser.
Dr. Schlosser, Dr.
And
Bill, as he liked
Dr.
to be
Bill,
referred to.
That little rascal, if you will. He loves saying that word. But I cited the paper I wrote for your class in his class.
Oh, nice.
We talked about the Nez Perce and fire.
So, cool. Cool.
It was. I love it when classes overlap like that.
Yeah, no, it's nice when there's synergy and those when you start realizing that some of the stuff that you're learning in one class overlaps and blends in with another class.
Kind of fits into the whole picture.
Yeah. It'd be nice if that were intentional and that all everything was sort of designed that way
right.
at the university or at least within our department. It's nice when it comes together. Yeah. Not always. It's nice when it happens though.
Fair. So you did your focuses for your PhD on wildfire.
Yep.
Do you teach any wildfire classes or?
I teach a 400 level course called The Human Dimensions of Wildfire, which is, Human Dimensions of Wildfire or Human Dimensions of Natural Resource Management. Like I said, we're not managing all those things. We're managing people, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to understand people. And so it's really an introduction to, qualitative research. There's quantitative research, which is the kind of stuff quantitative stuff is like what you're doing in your math classes, your chemistry classes, your stats classes, and very useful stuff, right? But there's also qualitative research, which is what I do, which it basically focuses in on what people are saying and how to interpret and analyze the things that people say and do to get at sort of maybe, if you're lucky, why they do it, why they do certain things or why they don't do certain things. And when we're talking about wildfire adaptation, that's really important, right? If we can determine, what people's preferences are on the landscape, management preferences, then hopefully we can design management strategies that are more effective because they're more accepted by those people that live with those strategies.
Seems a lot harder, this qualitative data than quantitative, right? There's no one right answer, is there?
No, yeah, it's it's like trying to pick apart somebody's mind, and people are complicated. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but people are pretty freaking crazy. They do and say the dangest things,
I
right?
do.
So, it is difficult. It's super challenging. But if you love like working with people, if you like talking to people, if you like just
The complexity.
yeah, that complexity, if you love deductive reasoning as opposed to inductive reasoning, yeah, those are all good things.
Well, then you can apply all that love to wildland firefighting.
Absolutely.
That is pretty cool. Let's see. So I asked a few people who've taken your class if they had any questions, and I've heard that some people think that you've been in the military. Is that true?
Yeah. I joined. I went in the Navy right out of high school.
Really?
And I did 4 years during the. Oh boy, this is going to date me. What is it? I'm always curious if people are trying to guess my age. Like,
If I had to guess, I would say 52.
that's pretty close. But yeah, 54. I did give you the graduated first time around in college in '99. But anyways, so this is gonna. Well, there we go. The secret's out.
Cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag. I'd like to say I think I look pretty dang good for 54.
You look great.
Yeah.
If my dad wasn't the same age, I wouldn't have been able to tell.
Oh, gotcha.
You look a lot like him. So
cool. Your dad must be a handsome fella. All right. So, yeah, right out of high school, went into the Navy and participated in sort of tail end of my time there in 91 and 90. Mainly 91, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, so the first Gulf War.
Oh, wow.
I would say that was the best Gulf War to be in. It was over and done with pretty easy. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that there's guys that shed blood in that war that, that had a real horrible time compared to my absolute cake adventure when it came to warfare, which was, sitting on an air-conditioned aircraft carrier in the Persian Gulf and eating, 3 hot meals and
nice
sleeping
and far away from.
Yeah, no sand in my shorts or my boots or anything like that. But yeah, no, it was a cool experience. I mean, there's aspects of the military that are really cool, and there are aspects that I hated. Like this the lack of personal freedom. Because they own you. They absolutely own you. So I remember, I think waking up one morning when I was supposed to go get on the boat and go out to sea, and I was waking up next to my girlfriend, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to go. Nah, this bed's warm and comfy, and I don't want to go." And I ended up going because otherwise you get in big trouble.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, big
consequences.
Real consequences. But there was some really cool stuff, all the protocols and whatnot.
See the world a little bit.
Yeah, I went
especially
around
through the Navy.
Yeah, went around the world 1.5 times.
Wow.
I've been to Pattaya Beach, Thailand. I've been to several cities in the Philippines. Been to Hong Kong,
Wow.
Singapore. Been to Dubai.
Really?
In the UAE. I feel like I'm missing something in there someplace. But yeah, no, I've seen some really cool stuff. I don't know. Oh, have you ever heard of a guy named Sturgill Simpson?
It kind of sounds familiar.
He's a music guy, singer.
Okay, yeah.
And he does kind of alt country.
Okay.
That's my jam.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
He was in the Navy, and so he has a song called Sea Stories, which I absolutely highly recommend you listen to because it's as close of a representation of what it's like to be a sailor in song as I've heard anywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. It's super cool, and he's an amazing artist. I mean, just like doesn't get much better than
Sea Stories by
Sturgill Simpson.
Sturgill Simpson.
Yeah.
Right on. I'll be.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Cool. So full circle about your time in the Navy. Would you recommend doing that to people who are graduating high school right now? Like, is it did you enjoy this life path of going to the Navy and then going to school, or doing the reverse order?
Yeah, I really think that if you're coming out of high school and you don't know that you want to be in school still,
Mm-hmm.
don't go to school. There's
Yeah.
plenty of time. Like, I don't, maybe not the military. Maybe the military's not your bag. Maybe that's not the right option. For me, it was. And I think it's a really good option from a standpoint of it's a nice transition from, because, I know there's probably 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, right, that are listening to this and are going to disagree with what I say next, but you're still a child at that point. I was still a kid
Yeah.
at 18, 19 years old. Like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And so the military is a nice, like, transition stage where you get to kind of be an adult, but you still have somebody taking care of you, really.
Right.
Mommy and daddy aren't there anymore. It's your senior chief petty
Big brother
officer,
is there.
and that's your new daddy.
Yeah.
And they keep you in line. But yeah, no, it's a really cool. Oh, GI Bill too.
I was gonna ask.
So if you want to, dude, that's the best investment I've ever made in my life. And this is back in the day. So I paid $100 a month in for 12 months. So $1,200 in. When I went to Central, they gave me $450 a month for 5 years. Minus 3 months in the summer. They didn't pay me during the summer.
Okay.
But I mean, that as far as an ROI goes, return on investment, that's amazing. I mean, and that return is in like 4 years later, basically.
Yeah.
Or for me, it was 6 years after I joined. But I worked for a couple years in downtown Seattle at a coffee roasting company in between the Navy and college. Seemed like it was the 90s. So in the 90s, you should work at a coffee roasting company in Seattle and listen to a lot of grunge music and, go to those shows. I went to a lot of those shows.
Really?
Yeah, Alice in Chains. Saw them twice.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was super dope.
Wow, that's cool.
Mudhoney, you ever listen? No. Mudhoney, this is an alternative radio station, right? Mudhoney, they're a great punk rock band out of Ritzville.
Really?
Yeah, super awesome stuff.
Cool.
Ritzville.
Mudhoney. I feel like I'm gonna be exposed for not knowing very much.
I just give all of my musical like I'm sitting in a radio station going, where's the
Well, that's perfect. That's exactly why this podcast exists, is to pick your brain on what you do for school and also your music taste.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I have a way different sort of eclectic. I love like all kinds of music.
Really?
Yeah, I just went and saw the Eras Tour documentary, the Taylor Swift documentary.
There's a Taylor Swift documentary?
Yeah, it's just basically her show down at SoFi Stadium.
Okay.
Shot this last summer, and it is amazing.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Like, if you like Taylor Swift, it's super.
Are you a Swiftie?
I'm not a Swiftie. I'm definitely not a Swiftie. But that person she's a mad genius when it comes to writing lyrics. I don't care. People say you don't like her. Like, if you don't like her, you don't like her. You don't like that style of music.
Yeah.
That's fine. You can be like that. That's cool. No problem.
But you gotta respect her.
But you can't say she's not talented.
Right.
She's mad talented. Like, there's just... And her 1989 CD absolutely bangs. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. What do you think about the her and the Travis Kelce? Like,
yeah, I had no idea who Travis Kelce was until this whole thing.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Honestly, here's the thing. I'm not a huge football guy. I'm a hockey guy. If she would have been like dating, I don't know. If she would have started dating like Jason or Jordan Eberle with the Seattle Kraken, but he's married, so that wouldn't work out real well. I'm trying to think if some sort of famous hockey player. I think that would be way cooler.
Joe Burns.
Who?
Joe Burns.
Oh,
From the Sharks.
From the Sharks, the old man. Oh no, I'm thinking Joe Thornton.
Oh, maybe that's what I meant to say,
The
too.
beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Thornton. He's in his 40s. Yeah, I guess age-wise that would work. But I also think Joe Thornton is probably married. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's what a great career that guy had.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I could talk hockey too all day long.
That's cool. I got two older brothers. They're in their early 30s,
Yeah.
and they grew up playing hockey
nice.
their whole life. And so
down in California?
Yeah, just for
Yeah.
for fun, ice hockey for men's leagues or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I was younger and like below 10 years old, they'd dress me up in all their goalie gear and then take slap shots at me.
That'd be terrifying.
I took a few to the face. It was great.
Dude, that would hurt. I mean, even, I just got dinged. I play in Moscow. If any of your listeners want to play hockey, come over to the PARC, the Palouse Ice Rink on Highway 95 in Moscow, not very far away. And we have adult hockey leagues. And
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So pretty robust hockey community over there. And I love playing. So I'm on ice like once a week.
Really? Wow, good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun. I took a wicked wrister to my thigh. Like it caught the bottom part of my pad, but then also some meat. And so I have a nice bruise going there.
I bet.
Yeah, it's nothing like getting hit with 8 ounces of frozen rubber.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch. That's cool. That's some good exercise too.
Yeah. No, it's hella
incredible.
Good. It's like you're up and down the ice constantly.
Yeah. Wow. Right on. I didn't know you played. I knew you were a big fan, but I did not know you played.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you got to put your money where your mouth is, right? You got to go. People should. Well, I mean, it's hard to play football recreationally. Flag football, maybe.
Yeah,
but
intramural. If you're a student, you can do that.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, that's the one beautiful thing about hockey. There's opportunities for old guys like me to get out there and get absolutely smashed by these young people that are skating circles around me.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
My last guest is a student, but he plays for the Moscow rugby team, which is a men's league where anyone of any age can play. So there's a lot of older gentlemen out there as well.
Those rugby players. They like to drink some beer.
I bet.
Yeah. I think that's that's part of the requirements. Is probably if you don't drink, you probably can't join the team.
Get out of here. Yeah. Next.
They drink out of their boots and stuff.
They do.
Yeah, Did he talk about that?
He does. Yeah. Well, I've not on air, but he's told me some stories about the rugby team for WSU. Oh. They have a boot in particular for the newbies.
Nice.
It's a tradition. So
I wonder if they stuff their dirty socks in there and get it nice and sort of lubed up before they put the beer in. That's the kind of hazing I could get behind right there.
Yeah. Some stinky boot.
Stinky boot beer.
That's awesome. So. Hockey is one of your hobbies. Is drinking beer one of your hobbies as well?
Yeah, I got all the tats.
I've been in all of your classes and I've seen your tattoos, glimpses here and there, and I've always wanted to see them and hear about them. Do you mind sharing?
Yeah. So I used to have a horrible tattoo up here.
Uh-huh.
It was just a bad tat that I got when I was 21. Something like that, and I hated it for a long time, and I wanted to get it covered. And my bartender and friend, her name was Keely, she suggested, Mark, you like beer? Get a beer sleeve. And I was like, that's a beautiful idea, Keely. This is why you're my bartender and my friend.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so I thought of all the beers that I really liked and just figured out there's no way I could fit them all on my body. So we just went with a few of the top picks.
Okay.
So they started with they started the first one. I had this all done at Anchored Art up in Spokane.
Okay.
It's a really good tattoo studio. They do really good work. But started with this one, and it's
pretty.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be a fat tire.
Okay.
And then fat tire ale, and then it's got the spigot,
nice.
The tap pouring in there.
It's chrome.
Yeah,
That's a chrome tattoo. And glass. Those are like very difficult.
Yeah, I
tattoo.
imagine. I don't know much about how to do tattoos. I just know when they look good, and that looks really good.
Yeah.
And then he did. My guy did this moose drool bottle.
Moose drool.
When he originally did that, moose drool's out of Big Sky Brewing over in Missoula.
Okay.
So if you're ever over in Missoula,
Montana.
yeah, drop by Big Sky Brewing.
Cool.
Actually, Missoula's got a bunch of great breweries. So
Really?
Yeah. Hit Kettle House, Big Sky. I mean, they got a lot. So
cool.
Anyways, this looked like a sticker when he did it. Like it looked like a picture. Yeah.
Wow.
And then finish this, and then we got Irish Death from Iron Horse Brewery over in Ellensburg. That's a really thick beer, 7.8% ABV, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. You can't really see it. You can't really see it, but there's a Rogue Dead Guy Ale up here on the shoulder. That's like a brown ale. It's really nice drinking beer, 6.8 ABV.
Cool.
Super smooth. And then I had this. This is Henry Weinhardt's. That's their letter logo.
Nice.
And because that's when I was in high school, that's the first beer I was getting drunk on. So I had to throw back to like I'd get guys who were over 21 to buy me a 12-pack.
Yep.
And then I'd pour like 3 of them into like a 44-ounce Little Caesars drink cup, because that's where I was working at the time. And I'd get absolutely just wrecked while I was
at work.
Yeah, while I was closing.
Nice.
And,
nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I just tried also. If you got any beer drinkers listening, go over to the Moscow Food Co-op.
Okay.
And they have a great like individual micro beer selection, and you can mix and match and stuff. But there's a beer out of Boise. I think it's Payette Brewing, but it's under the name of Bombastic Brewing, and it's
Bombastic. That's
Bombastic.
like Shaggy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a connection.
Shaggy's an artist.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
okay, yeah.
I don't know if there's a connection there.
Gotcha.
But Bombastic Brewing, they do this one called Stubbornness, and it's a English-style barley wine ale. It's pretty smooth. It's kind of got a little sweetness to it. 13% ABV. Drink 2 or 3 of those and call me in the morning, kind of thing. That's
wow.
That's a crazy beer, but cool. It's super good. Super good. I love beer. I don't know.
That's awesome.
There's only one beer I won't drink, and that's Natty Ice. So
really,
yeah. That ain't worth drinking.
No, fair enough. What about Twisted Tea?
I've had Twisted Tea. It's too sweet, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, if you
good way to get a hangover.
Yeah, like if I was gonna, like I've done this with Twisted Tea. Like when I'm doing yard work or something, like and it's hot out, I might get some actual tea and split it 50-50, and it ends up being kind of like, in a way, a reverse Arnold Palmer, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
so,
sounds nice. On a hot day, doing some work. Sounds refreshing.
Or just a good lawnmower beer,
Yeah.
There's an actual beer called lawnmower beer.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's made out of Oregon or something. I've had it. It's like a 4.8 Pilsner.
That's a niche right there.
Yeah, and it's called lawnmower beer. It's got a picture of a lawnmower on there. It's great.
Target audience.
Yeah, they knew exactly what they were going for.
Yeah. If you had to pick one beer to drink for the rest of your life, what's it going to be?
God, that would be super hard. No, the caveat would be, would that beer not change? Because here's the problem with microbrews, right? Once they get bigger, like they get more successful, they get more popular, they have to up their batch size. And as soon as you up the batch size, you change the sort of the recipe, the chemistry changes a little bit, right?
Interesting.
And so if you ever discover a beer from like a small batch brewery and you really like it, when that beer gets to where it's popular and you're seeing it in all of the stores, you'll notice a drop off in the quality of the beer.
Really?
It'll change.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not drop. It'll just change.
Okay.
Though. That happened with Moose Drool. That happened with Irish Death.
Huh. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, let's say it doesn't change.
Doesn't change.
It's
Okay.
It's delicious, small batch.
Yeah. Never changes. I think I probably got to go Dead Guy Ale from
Dead Guy
Rogue.
Ale.
I really just, it's such a nice balance between, it's a heavy beer that I can drink a lot of.
Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, there's some, like, I can't drink a lot of Irish Death. So I can only knock, oh, wait a minute. I changed my mind.
Final answer.
A final answer. Man, it's really hard. Kettle House Cold Smoke. It's a Scotch ale, and I can drink a lot of that. And it's a great all around beer. There we go. Final answer. If I was stuck with one and it never changed, Kettle House, Cold Smoke.
Cold Smoke.
Yeah, and it's Kettle House, a great brewery. Yeah.
Where is it?
That's over in Missoula.
Missoula.
Yeah.
Cool. So Missoula has a lot going for it.
Dude, that's like
That's a destination.
pretty happening college. It's a college town, you know.
It is,
University of Montana there. I've got some family connections.
Really?
There at that university. Like, there's some stuff dedicated to my grandparents over there. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's a neat town. I used to take little kids over. Like I used to coach little guy hockey, and we'd go over there for a tournament. It was a really cool place to go for hockey tournaments.
Yeah. I'd never heard of Missoula until coming here and studying geology.
Oh, and the Missoula floods.
Missoula floods.
Yeah, there you go.
That was my introduction to it. So.
Yeah, hey, that's not surprising. Why would you hear Missoula if you don't live anywhere near Montana?
Especially, I'm from California. Yeah. It's like just so far away.
Yeah, it'd be like, I mean, I don't know. There's probably towns in California that people outside of California have never heard of.
Yeah.
I can't think of any because you
don't.
Oh, no, I've heard of Bakersfield. Dwight Yoakam sang a really cool song about Bakersfield, Streets of Bakersfield.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's a really nice one. And I also locked my keys in my car right in a rest stop right outside of...
At a rest stop?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. I'd have a tow truck come out and break into my car for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. That is funny. All right. I have a few more fun questions for you.
Okay. I love them. So, fire away.
Is there anything crazy? Like, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened during a lecture in your class? Has anything crazy ever happened? Has any student come into class belligerent or made a ruckus?
I mean, the only, like, the craziest things that happen in my class, I've usually instigated. Remember, were you there first day with the music?
The music?
When I played Black Eyed Peas, like right at the beginning of class.
Did you play Black Eyed Peas and then start talking while you were sitting down with us? And we're like, we could hear his voice, but we didn't know where he was? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so like...
I guess that's confusion.
I just like instill some confusion in the room and try and disrupt what your norms, what you think are the sort of the normal way that... So, yeah.
It was an engaging start.
Yeah. It was. I never, I will be honest with you, 99.9% of the students that I have in my classes that are there, at least on a regular basis, are freaking awesome. Like, I love all of my students.
Yeah.
I mean, there's... Once in a while, I'll have a student that is like just a little like irritates me a little bit, but I'm more concerned about their welfare and everybody should be capable of like pulling a decent grade in my class.
Yeah.
So it sort of frustrates me when I see somebody not putting in the effort, but in general, I've never had problems with I mean, I had one student once that voiced some opinions about social issues in 312. This was, I think, the year before you took it, and she was voicing some controversial sort of viewpoints. And you know what? Very sort of organically, another student very respectfully addressed
Hmm.
um, those talking points in a way and in a more authentic way than I could ever do, because it was sort of the one student was in a way not attacking but coming after students of color and and women, female students, and a student of color woman stood up and basically presented the other side of the
Good.
issue, and I sat back and just said, this is cool. This is the way it's supposed to work,
I was gonna
right?
say it sounds like a very natural and like
Yeah.
healthy way for that situation to handle
That's
itself.
that's kind of the craziest, I guess, weirdest thing.
Did that happen during lecture or during your lab?
During the discussion section, and it was during COVID, so it was over Zoom.
Oh wow!
When I think over Zoom, people felt like they could say crazier shit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I said the.
Oh
yeah.
That's all right.
Beep that one out. Yeah.
Yeah. That's quite all right. That's one of my favorite parts about your teaching style is how much you swear. It's awesome.
When you said I couldn't hear, I was like, man, I'm gonna.
Of these.
Yeah, I'm going to. I really. That was my only slip up today. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah.
So
No,
I was like I was telling
job.
you, if I can do it for an hour in church on Sundays, I can do it for an hour here. So.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and your class structure, right? You have lecture 2 days a week, and then you on the last day you have a lab discussion.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Like you read some papers throughout the week, and then you guys got to discuss them as a class.
Yeah.
I felt like that was an ideal setup.
Yeah, I wish I could take credit for the idea, but that was my boss, Matt, who developed the course. He set it up like that a long, long time ago. He
You
retired.
mentioned it before.
Yeah, he retired from here a couple years ago, and basically I'm teaching his classes now. And yeah, that's just a great. I think that's a great format. I like when the students are doing some of the talking.
Yeah.
Or a lot of the talking. I think students learn better when they're discussing, the concepts with each other and with me. Yeah, I think it's a cool deal. And, I like to talk to people. And so just me up in front of the room, doing that the whole time.
Yeah. Talking at us.
Yeah, exactly.
Us.
That's no fun whatsoever.
I agree.
I like to get to know my students and
Right
be able to say hi to them when I see them on the out on the mall or wherever.
Well, okay. I guess last thing, I know who your hero is,
Yeah.
and I'd love for you to just tell everyone a little bit about him, because he's a pretty important person to know about and his ideas.
Yeah. Aldo Leopold is was one of the early conservationists in our country.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, early 1900s. He passed away due to smoke inhalation and health problems, fighting a fire he was helping a neighbor whose land was on fire and ended up inhaling a bunch of smoke, and that was not good for him. Anyways, but he passed away at a relatively youngish age. I mean, he still had at least 20 years left in him.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's kind of sad. He could have lived into maybe the 70s or 60s or something like that. But anyways, he was really cool. Like his most important sort of, I think, piece of literature that he wrote was a thing called The Land Ethic, which
Mm-hmm.
you read in class,
Mm-hmm.
that essentially describes it's really not different at all, but it's a different way of viewing our relationship with the land and how we should treat the land with respect, and not looking at it as a sort of what we can get out of the land,
Right.
which is really similar to like a lot of the things that like Robin Wall Kimmerer talks about in the book Braiding Sweetgrass. And she's an indigenous woman, and it's it's a different way of viewing our relationship with the land. So I think Leopold's take is in line with a lot of like indigenous people's take on relationship with the land, which I think is really cool. I highly recommend if you love the land, if you love public lands. If you love public lands, read Mark Kenyon, That Wild Country. And then if you love just being outdoors and whatnot, you have to have a Sand County Almanac
Yes.
in your library. And take it with you when you go camping or when you go hiking or whatever, and just crack it open, keep it in your backpack, read a chapter of it around the campfire. It's just beautiful writing, and just makes you want to be out on the land more.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I really enjoyed reading about Aldo Leopold, his land ethic, how he views the land as like everything in it, the soil, the grass.
You gotta
everything.
Yeah, you gotta take care of the soil, right?
Right.
If you can't grow stuff, then we're in bad.
And the coolest part is that humans are a part of that.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It's not us and the land.
No,
it's the
together.
land.
Yeah, we're all one
We're in
big
it.
community. We
Yeah.
just have to treat the soil and the critters with the same respect that we treat our next door neighbor.
Yeah, and I enjoy viewing the world and life like that. So that's pretty
That's
cool.
cool.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate.
You're welcome.
This has been a lovely conversation.
Yeah, this has been great.
You've been listening to KZUU 90.7 FM Pullman. We're a broadcast service of the ASWSU. I've been your host, DJ Daisy. My guest is Dr. Mark Billings. This has been the conclusion of episode 3 of What's New Wazzu. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll be back next week with episode 4 with a chemistry professor. So stay tuned. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
That was cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
That was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.